our next speech is about one-on-one digital product design, talking about how to build meaningful digital products from scratch and create unforgettable user experience. And what a better speaker than the co-founder and lead product UI UX designer of SimpleApps, who's also an instructor in the Diploma in Digital Marketing program at ICT College, co-organizer of the Google Developers Group Athens and Women Tech Makers Greece communities.
Let's welcome on stage the magnificent Magy Kontou.
Thank you, Magy. Thanks for the kind introduction. Hi, I know how difficult it is actually to make the presentation before the coffee break, so I'm going to make it quick and dirty, hopefully. Do you imagine a world where every click, tap, or gesture is personalized and butter smooth? It's all about decisions, design decisions. My name is Magy Kontou, and today I'm going to make a short presentation, a holistic actual presentation, about the digital product design process. The digital design process, although I'm quite sure that everyone is familiar with, is separated mostly in 5 phases: the analysis, wireframing, testing, visual design, and the development phase. The analysis step is actually more about the persona of the user, how our user behaves and interacts with our products, and the interaction in general speaking with our systems. Wireframing, on the other hand, it's an initial visual representation of our product, and here we're mostly talking about the user experience and information architecture as well. And for those who are more keen with the design, we're mostly talking about low fidelity and high fidelity prototypes. The testing phase is actually an initial validation of the feature of our products and our assumptions so far, and actually the flow of our product. Visual design is mostly about design the final screen of our product, whether it's a mobile application or a web application as well. Here we're mostly focusing on the user interfacing, the colors, the interactions, and stuff like that. And of course, the delivery of the design system to the developers as well. And last but not least, we have the development phase, different programming languages, frameworks, API, and stuff like that. We're mostly talking about coding, testing functions, and analytics. So the first step is actually about the analysis. And as I mentioned before, analysis is mostly focusing on the features that we're going to implement, the user behavior and the flow, and everything that has to be aligned with the product vision, the vision that the company has for the development of the product, whether it's the vision of us to implement a holistic experience based on good design. In each method, in each phase, there are different methodologies that we can follow. I will present just the methodologies that I actually like the most and I think that have the greatest impact on developing products. In the analysis phase, we can actually do what we call the empathy maps and finding the value proposition fit. Empathy maps is a visualization of the feelings and what the thoughts of our user when using our product. And that's what you can see from the image, although it's a small one. It's an axis where every quarter is representing how the feelings do, how the feelings feel, what they say, and what they think about their product. The value proposition fit is what we call the sweet spot between the customer profile and the value map. The customer profile refers actually to the jobs that need to be done. For example, what do our users need to accomplish? What are their goals? And the pain and the gains refer mostly on what are the problems that actually users face, what they're struggling, or what are the gains when the job is done effectively. On the other hand, the value map, which is the other side, the small map, refers mostly on the products and the services that we offer. And it also refers on the pain relievers and gain relievers, which is, do they make the customers feel better? Do you have features that make their life easier as well? After we proceed with a more technical approach, most of you might be familiar with, we have to do with the user scenarios, user journeys, and flows. The user scenarios are mostly focusing on the tasks and the goal that the user has to implement using our product. It's somehow showing the overall process. whether the journeys and the flows are mostly visual representation about the interactions, the touch points, the bottlenecks, and stuff like that. As developers, I'm definitely sure that you are familiar with those two methodologies, the use cases and the flowchart as well. Use cases are mostly a representation of the interaction with the user and our system as well. And as you can see from the small image on the left, almost each action that the user has represents a separated page on our mobile application or web application as well. The flowchart on the other side is actually more used to represent the workflows. It's something like visualizing an algorithm or something like that. We're trying to simplify complex processes and explain before starting the development process. Did you know that teams that use detailed use cases during the development report 40% fewer post-launch bugs? Do you actually use use cases when starting designing and analyzing a product as well? Raise your hands. Nobody uses use cases? Dear Lord. Okay, this statement actually emphasizes on the importance of the analysis phase and help teams to anticipate it and address potential problems early before starting the development process as well. Our involvement here as developer mostly focuses on the feasibility of the product. We actually can give feedback on the potential limitations or the challenges that we might face when starting developing the project, or also give technical check and give input and feedback regarding the technical requirements for certain feature functions that we might see that will be complicated when starting implementing and deploying our project as well. The second phase is actually wireframing. Wireframing here is an initial representation of what we had designed so far, maybe in a Scratch or on papers and stuff like that. It also focuses mostly on the user experience and the information architecture as well. When referring to UX and information architecture, we're mostly focusing on the stuff like that the UX is describing something like the overall user experience. Here we're trying to think about usability, about how easy to use the product is when starting creating the flows of the user, what are their overall interaction with our product as well. Whereas the information architecture actually is a categorization of the content that we already have. For example, photos, text, images, videos, and stuff like that, depending mostly on how users make use of our solution so well. And here we start the first scratches, the very first scratches of our design. And here we can meet some low fidelity and wireframes and prototypes as well. The low fidelity wireframes is mostly about focusing on the functionality rather than the aesthetics. And that's why you see that this design here is very simple and mostly has to do with representing the flow, what happens when the user clicks on something. The designs here are based in a tool called Balsamic, just in case you want to use this. Whereas after, we move to the next stage, which is the high fidelity prototypes and wireframes as well. Here, as you can see, we have a more realistic view of the final product. And this is why we use tools that are mostly used by designers, such as the Figma, Marvel, Sketch, InVision. I'm a fan of Figma, actually. Does anyone use Figma as well? Ah, okay. So the other people here are developers who doesn't like Figma at all. Okay. So here you can see we're mostly focusing on the finalized colors, buttons, text fields, and stuff like that. Well, this statement actually emphasizes the critical role of early-stage design in creating user-friendly and effective digital products. And it says that mostly 85% of issues related to the usability can be identified during the wireframing and prototyping phase. Our involvement here as developers mostly focuses on the fact that we can check the wireframes, we can give insights about the layouts, and also whether some interactions can be difficult to implement when starting developing the project, and also give feedback and help to the developers, especially when they try to create an interactive prototype and something is very complicated. This is where developers come here. They write code even for interactive prototypes. The third step is actually the testing and the validation. Here is what we have as an initial feedback for our design so far, and verify the hypothesis that we had when starting designing the project and the features. There are a lot of methods when starting testing. We categorize them in 3 main categories: the moderated, unmoderated, and A/B testing as well. The moderated testing is when the facilitator guides actually the users. They're probably going to give them access to a mobile application, and during interacting with the application, users has to answer to questions or follow strict insights and instructions regarding what they have to do. The unmoderated feedback on the other side is more freely, like the feedback that we actually have. The unmoderated testing flow is actually refers when users complete tasks on their own. We just monitor them. We might keep up notes. And the A/B testing, which is the finalized and very, very used, especially when designing digital products, is mostly used actually to compare different versions, especially on the design. And there are a lot of tools that you can actually search about A/B testing and automate this process so far. So the automated testing, which is actually a process that we follow when designing a product, can reduce the time that we spend in order to repeat the same tasks. And there are a lot of automated testing tools. I personally recommend the Selenium one, which is an open source framework for web application UI design. And for those that develop mobile application, Appium for automated mobile application testing is also a great solution. But as I mentioned before, there are thousands of tools. These are the tools that I'm actually more keen on. Our involvement here as developers actually mostly focusing on testing, managing realistic A/B testing, and distribute the versions about A/B testing to the finalized users. We evaluate the performance. This is the exact position of our work as developers in order to propose optimizations, whether we see that the feature is kind of complicated and not optimized at all. And of course, bug identification. The fourth step of the digital product design phase is mostly about the visual design. This is the job mostly for designers, which refers to the design of the final screen, the user interface, including the colors, the shapes, the interactions, the animations, and the design system as well. A great design system, or a delivery to the developers, actually has to include a lot of things, but mostly important, UI components, which is all the reusable elements that we can actually use as developers, such as the buttons, the text fields, the icons, the components, in order to create a design system as well. Design guidelines regarding how components should be designed, like the spacing, the size, the fonts that they include, and the typography, which it's referring mostly to the font families which are familiar with, and ensure the consistency of our product across different screens. Last but not least, we have the color palettes. It, as you can see, mostly refers to the colors, to the primary colors, the secondary colors, the colors that we choose when a button, for example, is inactive, and the interactive interaction patterns with mostly represent about all the effects, the hover effects, and the overall interaction with the system that the user has when they click or when they tap or they swipe and stuff like that. And very important, last but not least, are the accessibility standards. Refers to those standards that we actually follow, both in web and mobile, in order to make our products accessible. And this is a statistic regarding accessibility as well. 50% of the world's population experience disability. It's our responsibility, actually, to create inclusive experiences to our users. Last but not least, the final step of the digital product design is actually the development. This is where we are going to start coding, develop the product, and add analytics and proceed with the testing process so far. So for those who've been to the room, the previous presentation, I'm definitely sure that you enjoyed a holistic approach about the UX methods and what about we do in order to measure the analytics, especially in the UX phase so far. At this step, we're mostly focusing about coding. I'm not going to give any presentation regarding the coding options because there are different tools, different programming languages, and you already know which one is the best solution for you. But I would highly recommend you to use some tools, such as the Zeplin, the one that you can see from the image. It's a tool that you can actually use in order to generate development resources and somehow make your life easier. As far as you can see from the tool, it actually generates useful information, mostly focusing on the interface. For example, the text size, the spacing between the buttons, the fonts, the colors, and also gives you part of ready-to-use code in different languages. Here is an example with the React Native, but it supports a lot of languages as the Flutter for those who are writing on something on mobile and cross-platform design as well. And also there are a lot of AI tools. I'm definitely sure that you're already familiar with tools such as Copilot, tools that we can actually use as developer for the code assistance, for debugging, optimization. And here you can find a list of some of the tools that we personally use in our company, like the post AI and stuff like that. But you can actually use a lot of AI tools. There are thousands of AI tools there for developer. Last but not least, before deploying a developer, before deploying a product to the real world, we actually add analytics. The reason that we actually add the analytics is because we need to track both general and user-centered insights that we can actually make our product better, insights that can make the development process easier. We are using insights in order to track overall things such as the user behavior, the success rate, and as far as you can see, those data are mostly separated into two basic categories. The first one is the quantitative data and the qualitative data as well. And the quantitative data is actually a collection of numeric data. And it helps us mostly to figure out about the patterns and the trends when designing a product. And this is why we use tools such as the Google Firebase, Google Analytics, Mixpanel, or Hotjar. All of them are tools that you can actually combine as well. For example, you can deploy a mobile application, have both Google Firebase and Google Analytics. They work complementarity. On the other side, the qualitative data is a collection of non-numerical data, and there are a lot of methodologies in order to have an insight about this data, such as the card sorting, user interviews that I'm sure that you remember from the previous presentation as well. And we are here at this point, we are mostly focusing on getting user feedback regarding the overall data that we collect once the project is implemented. What is important actually is the combination of both two methods, the quantitative data and the qualitative data, because this is a way in order to understand better how the user uses our products and services as well. They say that design creates stories and stories create experiences. Starting today, let's craft digital products and create memorable experiences for our users as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Magy. That was very insightful.
Welcome.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you
I'm
again.
jealous of your badge. You are participating at the hackathon. You're supporting us kindly.
You're a
Yes, I'm
mentor.
supporting you as a mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since the last time that I've been a participant, actually.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
how you find it still now, the hackathon?
It's very impressive, and for those, I don't know, are the pitches open to the public? Or the audience will be have the opportunity to see the winning team tomorrow on stage?
Yeah, the winning teams definitely, both novice and expert league teams. The winning ones will share their pitches tomorrow in the afternoon and receive their prizes. I believe that all the pitches are behind closed doors.
Yeah, but tomorrow the two
Yeah.
finalists will do it.
But do you know how you have access to the pitches? When you're a participant. And
Yeah.
this is an open call to action for you as developers. Why actually you don't join the hackathon the next year? I'm definitely sure that we're going to have a hackathon. Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
and
it's
I
an amazing
also-
experience.
Yeah, and I also heard a touching story yesterday. Olympia was telling to me that when the teams started working, even before they officially opened the rooms, the mentors started working with the teams even outside the
Yes, that's
center,
true.
so in the pavement or in the outside area. So it was very, very touching, very moving. Yeah,
There is so much passion and energy down there, actually.
yeah.
And
That's
thank
great.
you, thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank you
your
for
the
support.
conversation. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.